Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're going to get ready to get started with the Truth League report in just a bit. We're going to definitely break down my top five games from this past week. And we also had some breaking NFL trade news that came across the wire definitely after Sunday's game and also uh, today. What happened. So we're definitely going to get into that. We're definitely going to talk about these trades just a little bit. And then, of course, I go into my top five games and also my top five ballers from this past Sunday. So we're going to get ready to get started. Make sure y'all share this show out. This is also going to be on Spotify, Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio later on tonight. So you could definitely go and download that if you're not able to stay the entire show. So we're going to get ready to get started in less than 60 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody? What's going on, football fans? Everybody out there, welcome into Truth League Report. I'm your man, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth. And I definitely do thank everybody for tuning in to this show tonight. I see we have a couple of people in here. We got my guy AZ Mick, and I see we got we got a Philly fan in the house. And definitely glad that you're able to join. This is a show for all football fans. It's not just, of course, I am a Tennessee Titans fan, but this is about all of the NFL. This is not just about the Tennessee Titans. We're definitely going to get into everything NFL. Of course, some big trades have been made. And of course, a couple of other trades that I forgot to mention were also made. So we're definitely going to talk about that. And then, of course, again, we're going to get into my top five games from this past Sunday and Monday night. And also my top ballers from this week as well. So we're definitely going to get into all of that. Again, please do make sure you do share this show out. If you could, you will be helping me and everything as well. So definitely make sure you do share this show out, whether it be on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter. Of course, the pages are below. TNT Enforcers is the fan page on Facebook, on Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer, and on Instagram at Titans_N_truth. And also make sure that you hit that like button on this channel. If you're new to the show, you could definitely give me a like. You'd definitely be helping me. And also make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. Definitely go ahead and smash that like button. That subscribe button and the bell. So then that way you'll know when new episodes are coming up and everything. And, we're definitely going to bring you the best in some of the breaking news as it comes out. So we're definitely going to talk about that as well. And again, make sure y'all give us the like button also in liking the show. But let's get into it. We definitely had also We had some injury news come out around the NFL as well. Definitely Chargers JC Jackson. Um, the Chargers JC Jackson will be out for the remainder of the season due to injury. In the injury that he suffered in the game against the Seattle Seahawks. Um, he had a dislocated kneecap in loss to the Seahawks. He will be out for the remainder of the season. Also, Mike Williams, the Chargers wide receiver, has a high ankle sprain. He's going to miss multiple weeks uh, due to that injury. And also DK Metcalf in that exact same game. Towards had a issue with his patella tendon, but they're saying that he won't need surgery. That he won't need surgery, but he's gonna obviously be out for some time as well. In New York, Brees Hall torn ACL. He is gonna be out for the rest of the season as well, and also right tackle Elijah Vera Tucker will also, I believe, he had ruptured a ruptured injury as well. I'm trying to get that information. I forgot to update that. But Elijah Vera Tucker, let's see, tricep. He had a ruptured tricep injury. He's out for the rest of the year as well. So there's definitely a lot of injury news that have went out. And I mean, that's definitely going to hurt some teams and things like that. Of course, all the team scores are going across the bottom of the ticker right there and everything. And also, all the shows are going to be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. But the Jets, with their problem at running back with Brees Hall, who was becoming a star and was a resident baller on this show, is out for the season due to injury. But what the Jets go ahead and did is that they acquired Jaguars running back James Robinson, and they send to the Jags a conditional 2023 sixth round pick back to Jacksonville. So the Jags get a pick, and the Jets get a running back who could do some of the same things that Brees Hall can do. Like, James Robinson was very impressive as a undrafted rookie for the Jaguars. Came out, had over 1,000 yards. Had over 1,000 yards in his rookie season. Was definitely one of the more improved running backs in football, and I mean, extremely impressive. But of course, we see that we definitely see that they have decided mainly to go with they've decided to go with Travis Etienne. So that is why that trade was happening. They basically preferred Travis Etienne over James Robinson. So that's why James Robinson got traded. He now goes to the Jets, who are doing very well, by the way. So he definitely replaces Brees Hall in a very nice way, and they basically don't lose. They basically get the same type of back. So that was actually very good. Also, other breaking news, this happened today, was that and I know a certain couple of Eagle fans are going to be very happy. The Eagles gain defensive end Robert Quinn from the Chicago Bears, and they send back to the Bears a fourth round pick in next year's draft. And so now the Eagles, they just continue to bolster up the defense. A defense that was already doing very well, especially against turnovers, just got better. The undefeated Eagles, I should say, when it comes to that. So those are a couple of the major moves that have definitely been made. Some other moves were definitely made as well. Again, The Jets get James Robinson from the Jaguars, a running back, for a conditional uh, 6th-round pick. And then of course today Robert Quinn to the Eagles for a 4th-round pick. Some other trades that of course happened. Christian McCaffrey got traded from Carolina to San Francisco for for a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th-round pick next year, and a 5th-round pick, I believe, in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Carolina also traded Robbie Anderson for a 2024 6th and 7th-round pick. The Raiders also struck a deal. They traded defensive lineman Jonathan Hankins to Dallas. They traded Jonathan Hankins and a 7th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys, and they get back a 6th-round pick for Jonathan Hankins. So definitely some trades happening. Some trades are being made, and hopefully a certain team that I support gets in on all the trade fund and go and get a wide receiver or maybe a offensive lineman. So I would definitely hope for that. But that was definitely some of the big injury news and also some of the big trade news that have come out so far. Also, Mac Jones, even though he was benched in the loss to the Chicago Bears, will start again against the Jets. So I don't like that situation. What they're doing, what Bill Belichick is doing in New England, is the fact that, that they're deciding, what, we're just going to go back and forth on this thing. I mean, honestly enough, if they had decided to go with Bailey Zappi, it's basically saying they gave up on Mac Jones and have decided, what, we just can't do it. I know I see Fly Eagles Fly and Robert Quinn. I know there's definitely there. But again, if the Patriots decided to go with Bailey Zappi, you can't turn back. So I think that's why they're probably trying to give Mac Jones one more chance. And then if he doesn't produce, then he's pretty much gone. And so another piece of news that I definitely saw coming out as well, I believe this is with Dan Graziano in regards to Bradley Chubb, because I know Denver is definitely in a free fall, and it was something that we were hearing about, is that Bradley Chubb could definitely get traded, especially if they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. And so I believe this was reported. I'm trying to get the report about that. I believe that was from Dan Graziano. I believe that was from Dan Graziano, who said that, yeah, Bradley Chubb could definitely get traded if, they lose. If they lose in this. And also there were definitely some rumors that Nathaniel Hackett might get fired if they lose this game as well. So I mean, there's a lot going on in Denver, especially with with Chubb. There's possibly Jerry Jeudy could be traded, or KJ Hamler could get traded. I mean, I was listening to one of the local Nashville stations. What about Cortland Sutton? That could be a possibility. Also, there were rumor is that guard Dalton Reiser could be had at at the right price. So I mean, there is a lot of there's a lot going on. There's a lot of news that's churning around the league, and I mean, teams, if you're trying to compete for a Super Bowl, you definitely might want to make sure you get in. If you feel like you're a player or two away from really competing, you better go for it. You better go get it while you can, and try not to give up a whole bunch for it. So that's going to be definitely very interesting to see how a lot of this continues to play out as the trade deadline approaches. The trade deadline, of course, is November 1st. So next Tuesday is the trade deadline. So right after Halloween is the NFL trade deadline. So we're definitely going to see what more action could definitely come. I know Carolina has said they're not considering trading DJ Moore or Brian Burns, Derek Brown, or cornerback JC Horn. Although the Titans said that about AJ Brown, and we see what happened. So let's go ahead and continue on, and we get into our top 5 games of this past week. Now, of course, I'm going to mention first, this is not one of the top 5. My Tennessee Titans took care of business, 19-10 over the Indianapolis Colts. They're 4-2. The Colts have fallen to 3-1, and then also what they have also done, they've benched Matt Ryan in favor of Sam Ehlinger, not Nick Foles. And they have already said Sam Ehlinger is going to be the quarterback for the rest of the season. And they claim, and the Colts have come out and said they claim they're not waving the white flag, even though I kind of think they have. So that was a very good game. I think the Titans might have just killed the Colts pretty much. But let's get into the top 5 games from this past week that I thought were impressive. And we're definitely going to, definitely make this happen. Let me see. Give me just a second. I'm missing one. I never understand how is it that I have everything I need in one area, and then it's like one is missing that I'm not supposed to miss. But computers, you know what I'm saying? They can be tricky. So we're definitely gonna fix that. But coming in at number 5, we have the Green Bay Packers falling to the Washington Commanders, 23-21. I mean, I don't know what's happening with Green Bay. I mean, they have lost a few straight games recently. Of course, they lost to the Jets at home. They lost to the Jets at home and now have lost to the Washington Commanders. They of course they beat the Patriots and everything, but right now the Green Bay Packers, something's not going right there in Lambeau. And so, Titletown has had some issues. They've lost 3 in a row. They have lost 3 in a row right now, and they have the Bills in Buffalo on Sunday night coming up. So the Packers better find a way to get it together, or they could be heading completely downhill. Of course, my Titans play the Packers. Maybe the Packers are in a free fall by then, and then we, might be in a pretty good situation. But I mean, the Packers right now, they got some questions. They could definitely use a wide receiver since they traded away Devontae Adams, and could definitely use some help in that situation. So, I mean, definitely the Packers are in trouble. The Packers are in trouble. They are definitely in some very, very deep trouble. They're 3-4 on the season. So they are not in very good shape right now. But the Commanders, of course, they're not very good either. But of course, they, had they lost to my Titans, and then they've reeled off 2 in a row so far. I mean, they've beaten the Bears. They beat the Bears on Thursday night. And then, of course, Carson Wentz gets hurt. Taylor Heineke comes in and leads them to a come-from-behind win. They were down 14-3 at one point in this game, and they found a way back, and they were able to fight back and get a win over the Green Bay Packers. They're now, of course, 3-4, even though they're about 2 games behind in the NFC East, but they are, they're they're 3 games behind the AFC East. So, I mean, they could climb back into it. It could be interesting, but I mean, right now, Washington not very good, but I mean, this was more about the Packers losing than the Commanders winning. Not a very good showing by the Green Bay Packers. Number 4, another team that's kind of in almost a free fall, is, and I got Browse Rex asking what was my biggest upset, what was the biggest upset of this week? And honestly enough, I would definitely have to say it was this one. Carolina 21-3 over Tampa Bay. I think these two games, I mean, Green Bay, Washington, Green Bay losing to Washington, Tampa Bay losing to Carolina were definitely a couple of upsets I don't think anybody saw coming. And, I know everybody's going to think that, you got Golden Boy Brady dealing with the issues with Giselle and the divorce that's going on and everything. And I know that's what a lot of people are going to go with as far as what's going on in Tampa Bay. But right now, it just seems like something is just off in Tampa Bay. But the NFC South is not very good right now. They're 3-4 and they lead the division. The Atlanta Falcons are right there as well. So, I mean, there's a game out between first and last. There's a 1-game difference between the first place team in the NFC South and the last place team in the NFC South. I mean, could Carolina climb themselves out of the gutter, which when they fired Matt Rule, everybody, including myself, thought this team was being left for dead. And they find a way to completely shut down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you can kind of tell in this game, Tampa Bay their heart was just not in this game. Like, they just seemed like they did not want to be there. They did not want to be there. They did not want to play. Carolina was fighting like they wanted to play. And, they had some very good things going. DJ Moore had a nice touchdown catch, was very nice. PJ Walker was pretty decent in his first start, really his second start, rather. And so, Carolina may be trying to see if they can turn this thing around, even though we thought that was a dumpster fire in Carolina. But, we'll definitely have to see where this is going. But the NFC South is pretty much up for grabs. I mean, anybody could win that one. Because the best team is 3-4, and then the worst team is 2-5. So anybody can win. Another impressive victory coming in at number 3 was the Chicago Bears. And I watched this game on Monday night, and I have to admit I was impressed, and I also like to thank the Bears. I like to thank the Bears for, helping me win some money. Thank you for helping me win some money on this, because I believe the Bears were a 9-point underdog, and I picked the Bears to cover. Wasn't sure they were going to win, but they did more than cover. They won, and they won me a little bit of dough. So I am definitely satisfied by that. Thank you to the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields was definitely did some good things both in the air and on the ground. And then, of course, we know about the benching of Matt Jones after he threw I believe, a big interception on one of the first drives of the game. And then Bailey Zappi comes in and immediately led him to a touchdown drive. But then Bailey Zappi had his struggles as well. So, I don't know. I don't know if this means much for the Bears. They're 3-4. Right now they're 2 games behind the Minnesota Vikings for first place in the NFC North, especially with Green Bay going down. So What I tell you now is the NFL has so much parity, is that really it's anybody's game. In the AFC, everybody's going to say it is, Buffalo. It's going to be Buffalo, Kansas City, and everybody else. My Titans are third place in the AFC right now. I mean, hey, last year we got lucky and got hot when some other teams started to fall off late. I mean, that could happen for us again. We'll definitely see. But I mean, for the NFC, I mean, anybody's game. It's anybody's ball game right now. Nobody has really distanced themselves. I mean, the Giants are 6-1. The Eagles are 6-0 coming off of a bye. Minnesota's 5-1, and then you got a bunch of 4-3 and 3-4s. So I mean, anybody can get caught. And so that's something that you're definitely going to find out and definitely going to see. Let's see. Rousey Rex says, what do you think will happen with CMC now traded? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Carolina. He was in San Francisco. He's getting used to that offense. I think run CMC could be very effective out there because he can catch out of the backfield. He can also run between the tackles. I mean, him and Deebo Samuel could be a very nice combination. But they still got a question at the quarterback position. Can Jimmy Garoppolo lead them to a championship? And I mean, he's gotten them to a Super Bowl, but we still don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is good enough to lead a team to a championship. So that's still something that's going to be very telling. But my top two games, number two, the Cincinnati Bengals, them Jungle Cats getting it done. And that offense is starting to wake up. 35-17 over the Atlanta Falcons, even though the Falcons are 3-4. They definitely have some improvement done, but they still got some work to do. But man, the Bengals put on a show. They put on an absolute show. We're definitely going to be talking about them. Definitely got a couple of resident ballers on that team as well. So I definitely was very impressed with what Cincinnati was doing. 35-17. I like that. I think Cincinnati is starting to find themselves a little bit after a, kind of a sluggish start. They're now 4-3 and right there with the Ravens for first place in the AFC North, even though the Ravens beat them earlier this year. They still got another matchup, so Cincinnati could catch them. Again, early on in the year, it looked like Cincinnati was heading into that, Super Bowl hangover, but now they've kind of, found themselves a bit too and are working their way back. So, I mean, winning's hard in this league, but you start to kind of get on a roll, you start to kind of build some confidence, and that can lead to some very good things. But the number one game of the week, the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City putting up 44 on San Francisco, 30 in the second half. And I mean, Patrick Mahomes and gang lit San Francisco up. Lit them up, and it wasn't even close at all. Not close. Because, I mean, after, in the second half, I mean, it just seemed like the Chiefs just started just pouring it on, and the 49ers had absolutely no answer for them. Of course, Jimmy G, there was one sequence where on back-to-back plays he got sacked by Frank Clark, and one resulted in a safety. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes got to Juju Smith and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and they took care of business. And they are a big-time scoring machine. And they can do that to any team at any point in time. So Those are my top 5 games from this past Sunday. And let's see. Appreciate Browser Rex coming in. Browsy Rex. I hope I'm saying the name right. I apologize if I didn't. He said, "Are there any teams you think everyone should watch out for?" Let's see. Well, you know what? I'm going to say this. And this goes into my top ballers. Into my top ballers. This one is a honorable mention of top ballers, and that is everybody needs to watch out for the Big Apple. Watch out for the Big Apple because something is brewing. Something is brewing in the Big Apple. Both teams are good right now. The Jets are off to a 5-2 start. Of course, after winning in Green Bay, and then they blew out Miami, and they get a victory in Denver over the hapless Broncos. The Giants, of course, beat the Packers in London, and now, of course, they beat the Jags. They're 6-1 right now. And so, the Jets, of course, they do have some tough games coming up. They still got to play Buffalo, a couple of times. The Giants still got to go up with Dallas and with Philly later this year. So that's going to be a couple of very interesting matchups for these two teams. Find out if the Big Apple is for real. So I would definitely say right now, the Jets and the Giants are on a roll. I mean, right now, New York City is lit right now in football. And I mean, I didn't think I would ever say that, but they are lit in football at this very moment. But I would say some undercover teams to watch out for in the AFC. In the AFC, again, one team that we gotta, be cognizant of. I would definitely say be careful of Miami. Miami, they could sneak up in there and still be pretty good. I think the AFC East, especially with Buffalo, New York, and maybe Miami, that could be kind of a nice little dog fight. So I would watch out for Miami as well. But the Jets and the Giants, but I'm just saying, other than those teams, because they're at the top, definitely Miami in the AFC. In the NFC, a team that I would say could be on the up and coming, Seattle for one. Seattle is sneaky decent right now. They're 4-3. They beat the Chargers in LA. I did not expect this with the Chargers. If y'all went back and watched my, I think I did a prediction show in the AFC West. I did not have the Seahawks doing anything close to what they've done. Just like the Giants, they have completely blown away my expectation. I thought the Giants were only going to win like 2 games. I thought the Seahawks were only going to win like 3. And they've done way more than that. And so I think they've went above and beyond as far as I'm concerned. So definitely impressed. If my Tennessee Titans make a move in the trade area, I would say watch out for my Titans, especially if they get it together offensively. I think our defense is getting better, is getting much better. I think they're definitely better than the 26th ranked defense that they are, because I think some things are getting good on that side of the ball, but, it's offense that's going to hold us back. And so that's something that we definitely got to fix. So that's what I would say in regards to that. And wow, just saw this on Bleacher Report. Roquan Smith was in tears when he finds out that Robert Quinn got traded. And early on, Roquan Smith wanted out of Chicago before the season started. So, he's, definitely showing his displeasure in this particular trade. So that, I mean, what could happen there? So we're definitely going to see. But those are a couple of teams that I just think could be somebody to watch out for. Seattle, Miami, along with Big Apple Ballin in New York. So let's quickly get into my top 5 ballers. And of course, we're going to definitely bring you more trade news if we do see it. Number 5, Justin Fields of the Bears. 14 of 21, 179 yards passing and a touchdown. Also have 14 carries, 82 yards, and another touchdown. Leading the Bears well over almost 160, almost 260 yards of a total offense from scrimmage for Justin Fields, leading them to a 33-14 victory over the New England Patriots in Foxborough. So shout out to Justin Fields. Number 4, former Tennessee Titan running back, now Panthers running back Deontay Foreman. 15 carries, 188 yards. Dag, I miss him. I miss Deontay Foreman because that dude did some work for Tennessee, and he's definitely doing some work in Carolina. He's going to get more work now that Christian McCaffrey's gone and Chuba Hubbard suffered an injury, so he's going to be out for some time. So more Deontay Foreman definitely on the way. At number 3, I'm going back to the Key City. I'm going back to the Pacific Northwest of Seattle. Former Michigan State running back Kenneth Walker, a Doak Walker Award winner. Kenneth Walker III, 23 carries, a $168, 2 scores, helping the Seahawks to 4-3 with that 37-23 victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'm like, yes. Kenneth Walker, I looked at him too. I was like, man, he's a nice back. He's a very good back, and Seattle's lucky to have him, especially when Chris Carson retired. So he basically picks up right where they left off. Very impressive for Pete Carroll and Bunch. Number 2, I go with the Bayou Bengals dominance up in Cincinnati. And we're talking about that LSU duo +1. So we're talking about Joe Burrow, who threw for 481 yards, 3 touchdowns in the victory against the Falcons. Of course, Jamar Chase had 8 catches, 130 yards, 2 TDs. Also, Tyler Boyd had 8 catches, 155 yards, and a TD. And T. Higgins nearly had 100 yards as well. So, I mean, we've seen in Cincinnati, they can air it out. They've had 3 1,000-yard receivers before. I want to say it was either that or I know Chase was over 1,400 yards. I know T. Higgins was over 1,000 yards. And I think Tyler Boyd was right there at 1,000 yards, like maybe within like less than 100 yards. So, I mean, the Bengals, their pass happen. They'll throw it up. Burrow is definitely a star quarterback. Last but not least, at number 1, that killing machine in Kansas City. That scoring machine, the Chiefs' kingdom. Chiefs getting the high score. Mahomes throwing for 423 and 3 touchdowns. Juju Smith-Schuster had 7 catches for 124 and a score. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling had 3 catches, 111 yards, as they just completely put it on the San Francisco 49ers, 44-23. And so, of course, they're going into a bye week 2 weeks from now on Sunday Night Football. My Tennessee Titans come to Kansas City, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that game is going to go. Can we do something offensively? So, definitely talking about that. And, of course, I'm not going to lie and say, of course, another baller, as some people have mentioned, my guy, my king, Derrick Henry. 30 carries, 128 in a big victory over the Indianapolis Colts, which I mentioned earlier. And so that's definitely something there. And if you're watching this show, of course, in about the next 20 minutes or so. Just stay on YouTube and come on and watch TNT tonight as we talk about the Tennessee Titans getting ready to take on the Houston Texans. And of course, we're going to talk about the new stadium that could be coming to Nashville as well. So I definitely do appreciate that. Browsy Rex says, as a Bears fan, I would like to know, do you think the Dallas Cowboys will be better off with Dak, or will they struggle offensively for the first couple of weeks? Well, they look like they didn't struggle against the Detroit Lions. I think early on, they were kind of trying to figure themselves out, bringing Dak back in. But I think they kind of started to find themselves later in that game. They, of course, beat Detroit 24-6. So I think the Bears, I think the Cowboys could definitely find themselves again. They just right now they got to kind of get some things worked out on the offensive line. Zeke is definitely kind of heading downhill, but Tony Pollard is heading up. I do, of course, love CeeDee Lamb, and I believe the other wide receiver out there, I believe number 85, I believe his name is Brown. I'm trying to get his name. I'm going to get it right now on that, but definitely do like what I see in Dallas. Even though they had that bad performance, Noah Brown, that's who that is. Noah Brown has made some nice catches. So I mean, even though they had that kind of tough performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think the Cowboys are out of it. I still think they have very good opportunity. The Bears, I think they're kind of regrouping right now, of course, losing Robert Quinn. They're trying to see if Justin Fields can be their guy, although they could definitely use some help on the offensive line. I do like David Montgomery, the running back. I think the running game for the Bears could be very helpful to Justin Fields, but I think the defense is taking a bit of a hit. Mark Jones coming in talking about a couple of Vols. Jalen Hyatt and Hendon Hooker, like them both. Yeah, in Tennessee, the Vols have a big game coming up against Kentucky, and they better not look past Kentucky. Looking forward to Georgia. Hendon Hooker looks like he could be either a late first or second round draft pick. Jalen Hyatt has definitely entered the conversation as well. So I definitely think about that. Of course, my guy Jimmy saying, see you in December with Robert Quinn. I am not worried about the Eagles defensively. Good luck stopping Derrick Henry. That's what I would say about that. Good luck stopping the beast. You will bend the knee to the king. So, Browser X says, I am so glad I am not a fan of the Lions. I know that's right. Let's see. I McElroy says, tighten up. Definitely appreciate that. Montgomery Herbert, I like that. I definitely like him. So, Browser Rex, I appreciate you tuning in. Definitely get out to your fellow Bear fans. Like I said, this is a show for all the NFL. This is not just about my Tennessee Titans. This is about all teams. And I'm, of course, learning, more about other teams and stuff like that. So I need y'all help sometimes too, because I know I'm not perfect. I'm going to screw some things up. And that's why I can use y'all to help me right the ship. So I definitely appreciate everybody watching the show. But those are my top 5 ballers and everything. And like I said, the trades that came out, of course, Robert Quinn going to the Eagles, also James Robinson going to the Jets. Also, some breaking news that came out from Sunday as well is that the Chiefs' Frank Clark will be suspended the next 2 games for violating a policy. So he won't be available the next 2 games, and that includes my team, the Tennessee Titans, won't be playing in that game. He violated the NFL's personal conduct policy, and so he will be out the next 2 games. And that does include when they face off with my Tennessee Titans. So maybe that might help us up a little bit and everything. So everybody, again, make sure you do share this show out If you haven't already, also make sure you definitely hit that like button if you haven't already. And if you are new to the show, please give me a like button. Let me know what you think of the show, and also subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so that way you get notified of all of the shows that are coming. I usually do Tennessee Titan shows on Wednesday. On Monday or Tuesday, I do the Truth League Report talking about things that happen after, things around the league that happen, any trades, any news, any injury news. We're definitely going to do that. I'm trying to get better with making sure I do my picks and everything as well. So if you're new to the show, like Browser Rex, make sure y'all go ahead and tune in and make sure y'all join the show and subscribe. Mark Jones saying John Morant balling. Yeah, in the NBA, they might as well go ahead, shine that MVP trophy up and give it to John Morant now. They just need to go ahead and give it to him right now because that's over. MVP race is over. John Morant's your MVP. You might as well give it to him. So, everybody, I'm about to get out of here for a quick moment. Again, if you like, in about maybe 10 minutes, come on over, stay on YouTube, and join me for TNT tonight, Titans and Truth tonight, as we get ready to talk about Titans and Texans, talk about the new stadium and everything. And, we may get into a little bit of trade talk about some guys that maybe we could take a look at. So thank y'all for tuning into the Truth League Report, and y'all have yourselves a very cool rest of your night. Thank y'all so much.